Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's Monday, so that means Other Shit Monday, TADPOG? No, that's not right. That's not even one of them.
I think that's a drug reference.
TADPiG. Get my TADPOG. A weekly show where two old guys talk about old games and interesting games and side games and...
We are talking about it. I think today's game does qualify as an old game now.
It's true. Okay, that's fair. I am your bearded host, Tyler, and I've got this game today is, of course, inspired biblically.
Yeah, it is. So I hear.
So I have a copious amount of growing up Southern Baptist stories.
That's all this episode's going to be about, right?
Yep, just me talking about being crushed by right-wing conservative fundamentalism.
I know I would enjoy that show, and I'm willing to bet our listeners probably would too. So let's
some of them. Except for the ones that are that and enjoy games. It's a small Venn diagram, but it's out there.
The mothers certainly are not going to enjoy that.
But the first time, I remember, I think I was like 6. We were going to a very strict Southern Baptist church at the time, my family and I. And I remember seeing all the other kids were going up and they got to play in the water after the service was over.
Play in the water?
They got to play in the water. Like the preacher would go up there and just put them in water. And I was like, I want to do that. That looks like fun. I was like, what is that? Oh, that's baptizing. Oh, what's baptizing? They explained the whole thing to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm that.
Explained it. It's playing in water.
Yeah. It's like, you have to accept Jesus. Oh, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so you're sure that you prayed? Yeah, I did that. I did all the praying, and Jesus is in here. Let's get in the water. Mm-hmm. So I remember there was a big thing. Everyone was so proud of me. I think people gave me money. Like it was like my. It was almost like a weird bar mitzvah. Like everybody was patting me on the back.
So you did it again next week.
Everybody was like, "Oh, look, he's gonna be so good. He's been, coming this at such a young age, and he understands." And I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they got up there and baptized me, and then I was lit down because I immediately had to leave. And of course, I'm in this big white robe that's all wet and hanging down on me. It's that wasn't fun.
But the upside is, you got the badass nickname Wet Tyler.
Wet Tyler. So it wasn't until years later that then I more fully understood, and then was baptized again when I was 14 maybe, right after I signed my pledge to stay a virgin until I was married. Because our youth group, you had to go around and they had those pledge cards that you'd sign in dates.
You have that still?
I think I do. I remember because I was riddled with guilt for a long time because I had that card, and then after I had sex for the first time, I crossed the date out, and then I rewrote the date in again. I was like, all right, this is I shouldn't do this. This is against God. You get pregnant. This is just trouble. So I wrote the date back in. Stupid me. It's on my corkboard in my room. Why my parents wouldn't walk in and be like, why is that date crossed out? There's another date on it, but.
Did they ever ask you about that?
No.
Oh,
no. I did. There was one girl I knew. She got pregnant in high school. She also signed that card, and her dad kept it. So
the card?
Yeah,
or the baby,
the card.
Now I'm worried about what happened to the baby.
So whenever she told him about it, he pulled that card out and was like, I thought. It's like, oh my God! It's just, the game today. I've never encountered anybody that extreme, but it's out there.
How do you mean?
I guess we can go ahead and talk about it because we're going to talk about the binding of Isaac today.
Right.
And it's all about Isaac, the premise of the game being that Isaac's mother hears words from God that her son is impure and she has to make him pure. Mm-hmm. So I've never heard of it go to the extent of murder, But I have plenty of stories about the state of it being like, oh God, that's so awful.
Plenty of dumpster stories. We're just going to put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm Dave, your bespectacled host, and I don't have a biblical story. I remember I hated going to church. Like I really, really hated going to church because I still don't like waking up early. I didn't as a kid, and my parents always used to want to get up super early to go to church. Like they wanted to go to like the earliest service, and like Sunday morning, there weren't really good cartoons on Sunday morning, but like the ones that were good just happened to be like right at church time. So I used to always hate going. So I don't really have a good church story, other than I never knew what was going on ever. Like I never knew, like especially at Catholic church, like I had no idea what was going on.
Man.
It's like we're standing up. All right, those guys are gonna eat something. Okay. But I've got a story about how you may remember this, Tyler. We haven't talked about it in a long time. You came over to my house or my apartment at the time, and you had asked me if I'd ever played Symphony of the Night. And I said, no, I haven't. And you said, well, let me buy it for you because it's on Xbox Live. You can play it and I'll watch you. I was like, all right, pretty sweet deal.
Yep. On my mom's credit card.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was forking out money. I was like, let my mother buy you a game.
Don't worry, that's part of the story. So yeah, you enter your mom's credit card information into Live. We download Symphony of the Night, spend the whole day playing it. I moved to Lexington. And I never bought anything on Live in between those time periods. And then I moved to Lexington. I get a better job, and I'm making more money. I'm like, yeah, let me buy some games on Xbox Live. And I just start buying games. And then I get a text message from you like 2 weeks later saying, are you buying games on Xbox Live with my mom's credit card? Yeah, I was. I forgot that we had entered your mom's credit card. And since that was the first thing I bought on Live, it was like, it set it as the default or the default credit card. So just buying all kinds of shit. So thanks, Pam, if you're listening.
God, I hope she's not just for that story. All right, so I brought it up. Other Shit Monday. Binding of Isaac. This was a request. We talked about doing it because it's in the B's on my Great Steam Challenge, and then
yep. And I'm lazy. I haven't finished Secret of Evermore yet, so
that's fine. That's fine.
Another reason to do Binding of Isaac.
It's a long game, and then because listener Karibo's Boots asked that we do it, I was like, okay, sure, all right.
It's a good suggestion.
So this is the fourth Edmund McMillen game that I've played.
It's probably the first I played. What else did he do?
Super Meat Boy.
Oh, yeah, that's his? Okay.
And then the Basement Collection is him. So that's like, I played Ether, and I guess it's Time Fuck.
Okay. I guess I played Ether. What's that one about?
You are the lonely boy who gets befriended by this alien, and you travel to different worlds solving puzzles.
Yeah.
It was an interesting little game.
It's definitely more touching than Binding of Isaac is.
That's the thing. Like, I think Edmund McMillen he's a genius. He's designs great games, and then he's very big in Indie Game the Movie because it's all that's him talking about releasing Meat Boy and
that's one of the big games they follow in that movie is Meat Boy and Fez.
God, Fez. But you can tell he had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
I don't think like he was like I could be wrong. I don't think he was like abused exactly or anything like that.
There's a whole segment of the movie where he talks about fingers in his butthole. Yeah. Right?
That's our podcast.
Oh right. Yeah, I forgot.
I think he was just like a social pariah, and out of that he channeled all of how much that hurt him growing up into these wonderful games, which for the most part I love them. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I get it, you're upset, but it's just, there's so much of him being upset into every game, and you can just trace it. It's very plain to see that it all traces back to him, his roots.
It's kind of a bludgeon.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bludgeon.
Like, I was unpopular, listen to me.
I mean, I don't know how you gathered that from this game, Tyler. I really don't. Was it the walking vagina monsters that spread their lips and geyser out menstrual blood? Was that it?
A little bit. I thought that was just artistic license.
Now, here's what I don't understand.
Because I've heard they actually do that.
He does it, and it's artistic license. We do it, and friends get pissed.
It's true. Because Jacob sent me a message after Axley. He was like, I don't want you to be clean.
I was wondering what his response was going to be to Axelay. Well, do you want to dive right in to Binding of Isaac, or do you want me to go over? I've got a huge list of what I've been playing.
Oh, yeah. Talk about what you've been playing before we...
I mean, or we can end the show with that. Like, people can just turn it off because it's like, man, I can't take this 3-hour podcast.
No, that's what. So this is what Other Shit Monday is for. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot. So much that I made a list. A lot of Steam games, Tyler. A lot of Steam games because ManPog was recorded, of course, so I had more time there. Thanksgiving break, had some time there. Had 2 days off from work, and then we had, what are they calling it? Icepocalypse?
It has a name. It actually has a like hurricane-ish name, and it's something like ridiculous. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't watch the news.
It starts with a C. I remember I saw it one time at work when I was passing by all the TVs.
But whatever the sea storm is, that hit.
Yep.
So I get to leave work early on Friday, so I was just playing a lot of Steam games.
Yeah.
I played Offspring Fling, which I think was in a Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
Have you played it?
It's on my list. I won't play it for a while, but...
The only reason I played it is because I wanted to get the cards, because someone on my friends list had other Offspring Fling cards, and they had cards that I wanted. So I was like, yeah, I'll play this game. I'll check it out.
That's what the system's for. It's good. Because I got your trade for Borderlands for something that I had.
I can't even remember. I've just been, like, I refuse to buy the cards. I refuse to buy them, and I don't want to sell them, because if I sell them, I refuse to sell them and then buy cards. Like, I can't, buying is off limits.
Yeah.
I'm exclusively trading. So it's like, you know what? I've got over 150 games. I could probably like spend a few hours on each at least. It's pretty good. It's interesting. It's not something I would do for the long haul, but it's kind of a unique puzzle platformer that looks like garbage.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough. Surgeon Simulator. I've been playing Surgeon Simulator 2013, which I picked up mainly because you had told me about it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't like surgery, and like all that kind of makes me queasy. But then, like 30 minutes after you told me about it, Paul from the web show, What's Paul Playing Today, told me about it. And I was like, well, damn, 2 people have mentioned this to me like within an hour span. Maybe I should check it out. Yeah. He was actually streaming it. He did an excellent episode on it. That's hilarious. So that sold me on the game. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this game and play it. It's a lot of fun. I've never played any of believe they call them retard control games. I'm pretty sure that's
the politically correct term,
right? Where it's like you have to control your fingers with different keys on the keyboard, and so each finger is assigned
like
a key.
And all the other stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
it's kind of like, but it's actually easier than co-op, because that's what I was asking Paul when I was watching him play it. I was like, this seems like co-op because you're just flailing your fingers around and not really doing a whole lot other than murdering this patient on the table. And then you use the mouse to move the hand. So it's infuriating, but also entertaining at the same time. So it's like equal parts frustrating and fun.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun
like
with it.
Marriage. Hi-oh! Yeah! Marriage burn.
I played Serious Sam 3,
Oh,
BFE.
man. Oh, man.
That game is awful.
Yeah. My S's is like, from Humble Bundles, the S's on my Steam challenge, I have like 8 Serious Sam games to play.
That game is awful. I really didn't like it at all. It's weird because I can't tell if they're trying to pay homage to 90s shooters, which I think that they are, but they do too good a job of it because the level design is just, it's awful. You can't tell where you're going. Like, there's no mini map. There's no indication of where you need to go. So it gets to the point where you just run around the map just you've killed everything. So you've got this empty, desolate map, and you're just running around trying to find how to get into the next area.
Yuck.
So I would not.
No,
I don't recommend it. If you can, when you get to the S's,
I'll play through all those in a day.
Yeah,
Okay.
really, just turn it on and okay, I got it. I played, thanks to Drew Rowland, to Baron Drew. I played finally Going Home.
Yeah, I want to play that.
I've got it. You can play it here. You can sit down. I finished it in 3 hours and I took my time. Great game. Really, like, a game hasn't touched me like that since I played The Walking Dead, and this game touched me way more After I got done playing it, I immediately sent Jacob a text and said, "Have you played Gone Home?" And because I think that you would really like it, Jacob. This is a Jacob game, and because of that, I think it's a Tyler game as well. It's just I've never seen a game about love done so well.
Okay.
Thanks for sending me that, Drew, because I really enjoyed it, and I recommend that everyone play it. I get that everyone's problem is that it's like a $20 game.
Yeah.
For roughly a 3 to 4 hour experience. I do kind of have issue with that. That's the reason I never bought it, because it's like, it's $20. I've heard it's really short. I think it's a great game. I still don't think I'd pay $20 for it.
Yeah.
I think I could justify spending $12 on it, because that's what it takes for me to go to the movies.
Because I meant to. It was $5 on the Thanksgiving sale on Steam.
Oh, it was?
And I thought I bought it.
Oh, damn.
Because it was on like flash sale, and I remember clicking it, but I guess I forgot to click like the other confirm button. Because as soon as I bought it, I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. So I didn't confirm the purchase.
It expired by the time.
And when I got up,
yep. Fuck. Well, I've got it. Don't worry about buying it, because like I said, it's not going to take you long. You can.
Does it have cards or anything?
Yeah, it has cards. Okay. So you probably want it.
Maybe I'll buy it.
Okay. But I think we should get Jacob on the show to talk about that one at some point. I highly recommend it. I really do. Couldn't recommend it more. I played Natural Selection 2. Played that a lot this weekend with Paul.
Yeah.
That game is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's like
Better Primal Rage. Is that?
No.
It sounds like Primal Rage.
No, it does have like a Primal Rage title. It's a mix between a first-person shooter and a real-time strategy game, because it's aliens versus Marines. So it's already got this kind of like Alien meets StarCraft kind of thing going on. You choose which team you want to be on. You're either an alien or you're a Space Marine. And each team gets a commander. And what the commander does is, first of all, they'll give instruction to everyone who's playing in first-person shooter mode, and they'll mark places that need to be repaired, and they'll build structures that aid the units that are out. So like a commander will build an armory, for example, on the Marine side, and all the Marines can go to the armory to get their health refilled and buy new weapons and shit like that. So the reason it's kind of like a real-time strategy game is because the commander has this like overhead view where it's kind of like you're used to seeing in like StarCraft or any kind of real-time strategy game. And so they've got this overhead map where they click and tell units where they should go and what they should repair and all that. It's really fun. It was part of this past Humble Bundle. I had heard good things about it from another podcast I listened to, but I was kind of skeptical. I really enjoyed it. It actually kept me from playing games that I should be playing for the show.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Oh, it also has cards, Tyler. So
okay. All right.
I played Oregon Trail Director's Cut.
I'm interested in that game.
I didn't play it very long, but I liked what I played so far.
Okay.
Someone has already died of dysentery, so so that happened. And I was like, well, I guess I'm done because I got everything I wanted to out of this game. And I also downloaded BioShock Infinite because I wanted to see how it ran on the PC. So glad I bought it because it was $10 on Steam.
Yeah.
And it looks great on the PC compared to the 360.
Yeah.
So that alone is worth it. Because I had this really annoying bug when I was playing it on the 360 where like some of the dialogue wouldn't come through. So I had to turn subtitles on. So like some of it I just read.
Yeah.
Like I'd say half of the game I just read.
Ugh. I would like to do a Other Shit Monday eventually over Burial at Sea.
That means I'll have to get it. I'll have to get it.
I don't have it yet either. So, but I think it would be good. Be good Other Shit Monday.
But it's like $20, isn't it? Or is it 15? Or
15. I haven't bought it yet because I'm waiting for it to go down. So once it goes down, it will both be like, okay, that sounds fun.
Did you hear them talk about it on the Besties?
I did.
Yeah, see, I did too. And that's once I heard that, I was like, yeah, I'll wait till it's like $5.
Yeah. Because it sounds like it's episodic. So it sounds like when all the episodes are out, it will cost you as much as the original BioShock if you bought it release day.
Have you played anything this week?
Secret of Evermore. Secret of Evermore. Binding of Isaac. Bust a Move. And Breath of Fire 2. So it's just all TADPOG related stuff.
So you've been very good. I've been extremely irresponsible this week, and you've been very good and on target. So you'll carry us to the next few episodes. Nana's dogs are out, in case anyone was wondering. They're They're out in the snow barking. So if you hear them, let's just keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Trainsy and Nana's dogs don't. I probably would used to be worried, but listening to the besties, like all you hear is like car sirens.
And,
That's behind them because I guess one of their hosts lives in New York, so it's just constant sirens.
Nikki and I were listening to that episode coming to gaming last weekend, and I had to like turn it down because like I was getting freaked out. I was like, "Is that ambulance ever going to show up?"
Man, I hate music that plays that like has any sort of car siren in it because I'll always panic and look behind me because God, I had so many tickets.
Tyler.
I had so many tickets and shit when I was younger. So yeah, I'm very paranoid about the police. As someone who has went to jail for a night, I'm very paranoid about the police.
That's all I've been playing. Other than I want to thank Shake for sending us Fist Puncher.
Fist Puncher.
Is that the name of the game?
Yep.
Yeah. So
imagine we'll start playing that next week sometime.
Yep. Does that have co-op?
No, I don't even know what the game looks like. Yeah, I haven't installed it yet.
Awful. It's from the same people. He said it's from the same people who did Super House of Dead Ninjas, so which I thought was great. Mm-hmm. So I have high expectations for this game. Mm-hmm. All right, Binding of Isaac then.
Binding of Isaac.
I've burned like 20 minutes of the show. So
you hear that train? It's not Trainsy. It's a different one. It's a different one. It's sick. It's very sick.
Brandon said he was going to make a sound clip for us for Trainsy. I haven't seen that yet, so
that'd be nice.
I actually think I do hear Trainsy. Is it that Dave reached from Wikipedia train?
Yeah. That's what it is.
All right, guys. The Binding of Isaac is an independent video game designed by Edmund McMillen. And it says right here in the notes, traumatic childhood. It says in parentheses.
Okay.
So
just so you know, he wrote his own Wikipedia article.
Yeah, there's actually the you click on his name in Wikipedia and it just takes you to photographs of children with guns through their heads. I don't know. It was also designed by Florian Himsel. So he had a partner.
I guess I imagine it's the same partner that you see him with in
Meat Boy. Yeah. He does not have a link in his name, so I'm assuming he had a wonderful childhood. He's just a really good friend to Edmund.
Okay.
It was released on Steam on September 28th, 2011. Players control a crying, naked child named Isaac, or one of 6 other unlockable characters. After his, you've mentioned this, Tyler. After his mother receives a message from God demanding the life of her son as proof of her faith, Isaac flees into the monster-filled basement of their home. Then it just talks about it being added to the Humble Indie Bundle. And
this game's like $1.25 on Steam pretty much all the time. So yeah, it's a very, very good buy.
Which I'm going to go ahead and get my big gripe out of the way. I'm glad it's cheap as hell on Steam because it's ported from Flash. So there's like no built-in controller support.
Oh my God, that's a huge thing in my notes because God, that's so fucking frustrating.
It sucks, dude. Like this new machine that I've built, like I've tried to keep clean. Like I got a solid state drive in it because I wanted it to be quick, and solid state drives are hella expensive right now because they're newish. And so because of that, I've got small capacity drive in there. And I don't want to install all kinds of bullshit on there. Yep. But I had to play Binding of Isaac with a controller.
Yep. I had to download several different programs to do like keyboard to controller to find one that worked properly.
Which one did you end up landing on?
Joy to key.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I finally found, but it's difficult to set up. Joy to key is difficult to set up, and there's so many different versions of it out. Like originally I downloaded a version 3 or something, which is just impossible to figure it out. But then there's like if anyone listening decides to play this game on a PC and wants to try it with a controller, get Joy to Key version 5.
Yeah, the latest one. Yeah, because I originally tried a different one. Then you went the latest one, then that worked for me. But like normally I love Xpadder.
Yeah.
Motion Joy and Xpadder are usually my go-to to be able to use a controller. Neither one of those.
Xpadder. Yeah. Xpadder didn't work.
No.
Yeah, and they specifically say in the game, and I think it's funny because you go to the options in Binding of Isaac, and it says it has a controls option, but it says controls in quotations.
Yeah, yeah, Joy to Key.
Right.
Whenever you go and
when
look
you click
at
on it, they're like, yeah, get Joy to Key, which has a really shady looking website. Like when I went to Joy to Key's website, I was like, I'm definitely getting a virus.
Which one of these 4 enormous links that says download is actually the right one? But of course, Binding of Isaac, it's an allegory to Abraham getting a message from God to kill his son to prove his devotion to God.
That's after freeing the slaves or before freeing the slaves?
After freeing the slaves. Okay. The slaves are already free.
Right.
So, because I kind of thought to have Meg on for this one to talk about biblical stuff, but after I played the game, I was like, she would just hate this. She would not want to play 5 minutes of this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's a little too weird and violent and strange for her.
It's a weird game.
She likes cutesy stuff, and
this is cutesy.
It's like take cutesy and just run away screaming. That's this game.
Well, it's kind of weird because like what makes it so bizarre is it kind of is cutesy, but it's like grotesquely cutesy. It's like they've taken cute and then like just twisted it to the point where it's just hideous.
They put it through Tropical Capricorn man's brain, and just that's what it is.
Bullet ghosts, ghost bullets.
But I love the concept because it opens up. Isaac's mother is this enormous woman in a muumuu who only watches like the 700 Club over and over again until she sort of snaps, hears God. She takes away all of Isaac's toys and then locks him in his room to keep him away from evil influences, and it's not enough. She has to kill him.
And that narration in the beginning is great to set up the story.
I love Edmund McMillen's art style.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's very, very good. But yeah, I love the concept. Love how it starts off, and then of course he jumps into his basement, and it's very Legend of Zelda-esque after that.
Yes.
Even once I got the controls working, I still don't like how it controls.
No, me neither. Because it feels like it should control like a twin stick shooter. Because you play Naked Crying Isaac, and you control him with, well, the way I'd set it up, I controlled him with one of the analog sticks. And then with the other analog stick, I had set up where you could shoot tears, because that's how you kill enemies. You fire your tears at them. But it didn't seem like it responded like a typical twin stick shooter. So I ended up just using the X, Y, B, A buttons to shoot in a direction.
Because what normally, if you use the keyboard, you're supposed to do W, A, S, D, and then the directional pad.
Yeah, the arrow keys.
And I appreciate it being. I like that he had the option for left. Since I'm left-handed, you have the option to switch it. So normally, so you could control your, everything better with your left hand.
Right.
So I can appreciate that, but I still didn't like the controls,
No.
especially that. So you have to move yourself in the direction you want to go. Okay, great. But you also have to press a different button in a different direction to fire, as opposed to just like having a fire button that fires in the direction that you're facing.
Right.
So a lot of deaths came from me turning around and not being quick enough to change buttons to that direction to fire and kill an enemy.
Yeah, and I think that, again, is a limitation of Flash. Like, it makes me really sad that the game was designed in Flash. I know they're working on The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is the game designed and developed outside of Flash. So hopefully that'll fix a lot of the control issues and a lot of the weird bugs that happened because it was, taken from a Flash game. We'll see. Hopefully that one's like $2 as well.
But I was pretty bad at it. I could not beat this game because I get the whole roguelike. When you die, you start over. But I wish it had more in common with Rogue Legacy in that you could slowly get better over time. I never found anything at all. It was just you start over completely from scratch every time you play it, and it's sort of partially skill based, but also partially just the luck of the draw and what items you get.
Yep.
If you don't get a good items to support you, sorry.
Yep, I agree. I thought it was more difficult because I played this before when it quote unquote first came out back in, it may have been early 2012 when I finally got around to playing it. It was a lot easier then. This game has gotten more difficult. We're probably playing the same version, right? The Wrath of the Lamb. Yeah, because that's a DLC pack that was added to The Binding of Isaac, which switches out some of the levels. Because in the original, like for example, you start out in the basement. Well, in Wrath of the Lamb, there's an alternate tile set called the Cellar, which has like spider creatures and much more difficult enemies in it. So what happens is each time you go down a level, it randomly determines which one you're going to get. Are you going to get the basement, which is significantly easier, or are you going to get the cellar, where you're probably going to die? So because of that, I beat it when I played it years back. I could not beat it this time because I got really far. I think I almost got to the womb where you fight Mother, but I was faced with enemies that were completely different than I'd ever seen. I didn't know how to beat them, and I had already put in 5 hours or so, and I was like, okay, I get a good feel of this game. It's hard.
It's hard, and then it's very unforgiving for life. And then I do love all the unlockable characters. Yeah, because you unlock Eve, and you do that by making a deal with the devil. Samson, which that is getting a lot of hearts, and you can unlock Samson.
He's new to Wrath of the Lamb because I really wanted to unlock him because I'd never played as him before. Yeah, but unfortunately, I think did.
Judas is getting like 50 coins in one. You unlock Judas, and then Cain. I can't remember how you unlock Cain. Of course, all
I can't remember either.
All tortured biblical figures. Yeah, so
it's cool. Get behind that. Yeah. I like the theme a whole lot, and I think the characters all make sense. And like for instance, I think Judas is like a glass cannon, to put it in a term that Josh Nance would appreciate. So they're all different, and I love it, but I don't know. I feel like I'm not giving the game enough justice because I had already gotten my fill of it the first time I played it, and I almost feel like it was a mistake going back and playing it.
Because I tried playing it once before, and I stopped because of I put my hands on the controllers, like, nope, don't like this, moving on. So, but now that I had to sit down and play it, I'm glad I did. I did have fun with it, but it's not a game that I don't want to put the time in it that it would take to beat it and master it. All the achievements were all based on how many times you'd beat the game consecutively. Yeah. And it's just like, fuck you. Played all that time, and I got one achievement for randomly some kind of parasite appears in the dungeon, and you get a achievement for it. I think that's from
picking up 2 quote-unquote dead trinkets.
Yeah.
So we haven't really talked about trinkets and how important they are. Mm-hmm. You've mentioned that the game becomes much easier if you have the right tools. Mm-hmm. And in this game, you're rewarded trinkets. You can get them multiple different ways. Sometimes a boss will drop them after you beat them, and there's a boss for each level at the end. Sometimes you can buy them. Sometimes you'll just find a random chest. You'll open it with a key. And these things alter Isaac significantly. Like, for instance, stem cells is a trinket. You get stem cells, and then a fetus appears on Isaac's face. So it's not only, I like that, it's, you have a visual representation of the trinket you've picked up. That's cool. Yeah. And it also gives you a mechanical benefit because the stem cells will give you an increase to your health. And there's all kinds of shit like that.
At first I thought it was great, but eventually I started to hate it, which is the dead cat trinket. A dead cat follows you around.
I never got that one.
Gives you 9 lives, but you can only have 1 heart.
Oh, shit.
And each time you die, you respawn in the room previously, and all the monsters in the next room that you died in come back.
Nope.
So if you've almost cleared out a room and then you die...
Yeah, which is really easy to do when you've got 1 heart.
Yep.
Yikes.
You can get more, but if you die, it resets back to 1 every time you get it ever. So it did not care for that. The chocolate milk upgrade, so you spit chocolate milk at your enemies. The Cyclops upgrade to where you have one large
big tier that's much slower than
But that helped me significantly. I got further when I got that power than any others. And you pick up random cards and you get bombs.
Yeah, there's tarot cards. Yeah, I forgot. The tarot cards will do different things. The only ones I can recall for sure, the Fool will teleport you to a random room in the dungeon.
The Lovers gives you 2 hearts.
Yes, yeah, loved getting that one. Death is nice. Did you ever get the Death Tarot card? It instantly kills all the enemies on the screen. So if you ever get the Death Tarot card, save it for a boss because it does work on the boss.
Oh, okay.
I killed Larry Jr. that way.
Because the bosses, there are a few bosses that I just, Some were easy, and then I feel like I kept getting different versions. Like Pid, the centipede boss, the Zelda-ish jumps in. Sometimes he would be a different color and be easier. Sometimes I'd get a dark gray version, and he was much harder. I don't know if that's just if that's a legit thing.
I don't know. I never ran into that. I ran into regular enemies that were different colors. The green ones would always explode in acid.
The nauseous gas that nearly kills you.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, man, the hard bosses are all from the Wrath of the Lamb DLC. because I can't remember the name of that. There's a giant spider boss. Do you know what I'm talking about? He is from...
The human head with like all the spider legs.
Yeah, really grotesque. I love it. He is from The Wrath of the Lamb. And that's a hard fucking boss, especially for the first 2 levels.
Because, it felt like it was just randomized whether I would have a good time on this playthrough or not. And then that made me... Like if I would get really close, get far, or just, it was solid game, just not... I can see where other people would really love this.
Yeah.
It's just not exactly my cup of tea.
I loved it the first time I played it. I really did.
Yeah.
And that's only the second time going through. I don't know. I think I played it enough the first time. There's this chick on Reddit who has... there is a Binding of Isaac subreddit, in case you were wondering.
Okay.
I checked it out. There is this chick who has like a sleeve of all the Binding of Isaac characters.
Okay, that's devotion.
So she's into it. There's at least one person who really loves this game. She may or may not be Edmund's girlfriend. I don't know.
That's all I basically have to say about Binding of Isaac.
Well, you mentioned earlier that it reminded you of Zelda.
Tell
us
it's
why
like
that is.
Zelda, the original Zelda for
Right.
NES, because it has the map in the corner that's just squares you travel to, and you
That
go
represents each room.
room for room. You walk up, and usually, or you get keys to unlock and go into different rooms. So
Right.
it's a gory version of the first Legend of Zelda.
And it has tools like in Zelda, because like you said earlier, there's bombs.
The bombs to clear out rubble to get treasure chests or get to different rooms you couldn't get to.
Right. Blow up the wall to a
Did you
secret
come to a room that was just bloody spikes in the middle and
Yes.
then blood everywhere? What was that for?
I had to look that up because it wasn't in the original game. It's an addition with The Wrath of the Lamb. It's a sacrifice room, and what you do is you run over those spikes enough. Each time you run over the spikes, it'll take a heart. But you do it enough, and it'll give you a trinket. Which I never did because
Nope.
life is so fucking hard to come by in this game. Like it's you have a better chance of finding a taco than you do a heart most of the time because it's just ridiculous. And then it's also frustrating because you'll get to a room where it's like, oh, there's a chest that's encased with rubble. I've got a bomb to clear the rubble out. Unfortunately, I don't have a fucking key to open the chest. So it's like there's some levels like that where it's just you see all these opportunities
And you don't get any bombs, you don't get any keys.
you got no way to get any of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
It's just randomized.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
There's no boomerang in this game.
no, sadly no.
There is actually a tier upgrade.
There's a hook shot.
That's similar to the boomerang, which is really shitty because like it shoots out the tiers about halfway they normally go and then they come right back. There's no benefit.
No.
That's the other thing that's tough about this game is, and it's also cool that this game has so many trinkets and shit that modify Isaac. Like there's a shitload. There's a wiki just dedicated to it, and it's just this long list
Yeah, it's
of
like
items.
60 items. It's crazy.
Which is cool, but it also sucks because in the game there's no indication what they do.
And some penalize you more
Some
than they
are
help
awful.
you.
Some
So-
are awful. And some look like they would hurt you, but are actually really helpful. Like the flies. Like there's a trinket you can pick up that I can't remember what it's called, but it looks like it's going to do some nasty shit to you. But actually what it does is creates 3 helper flies that fly around you.
So it's just, so many items. You don't know what they do. I see where this is geared. It's geared so much for you to just play through it for so long.
This is a great game for someone on a budget because, like, if you were just looking for a game to kill an insane amount of time for not a whole lot of money, this is a great buy.
Yeah.
Because especially if you dig the art style and the gameplay, you will get your money's worth, no doubt.
Very true.
There are a lot of game references in Binding of Isaac. Of course, we mentioned the big one, Legend of Zelda, but there's also several of the bosses are like the game Snake,
Yeah.
like Larry Jr. You've got 2 snakes essentially going down corridors, and they also shit and block off corridors. I'm pretty sure this is a reference to Left 4 Dead 2. It could be. I think it is. But there's also, besides bombs, tarot cards, there's also pills in the game. And whenever you pick up a pill, text appears on your screen saying pills here. And that's what you say in Left 4 Dead when your character finds pills. We didn't talk about the pills. I think those are actually the most penalizing items in the game.
Yeah. I mean, some will increase your speed, which is good. But
It's great.
the random teleportation or the...
Or the speed down. Like, it seems it's always like a 50-50 chance. It's like this is either going to do something awesome or it's going to be completely detrimental. And there's no way of, as far as I know, there's no way
determining
of
what the
telling.
pills do. Yeah.
Except for a physician trinket, which is just like a physician's mask. If you're wearing it, it'll tell you what the pills do.
Oh, okay. All right, that's not bad. But
By it's not bad, you mean it's awful.
yeah. I mean, at least they find a way out of it. But and I talk this game. I'm a little bit more toward liking it. I'm not completely neutral, but I'm a little more toward liking it. But I didn't really like it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And just like it's good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I still enjoy it, and there are a lot of interesting things about it. Like, I think it's interesting what Isaac becomes by the end of the game, because he becomes something completely different than he starts. Like, each time you play the game, by the end of it, regardless of whether you beat it or if you die, Isaac is completely different. And it's never the same.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that the binding of Isaac is to Rogue Legacy as Zelda is to Metroid.
Okay. That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
That's all I've got for Binding of Isaac.
Because we've talked about religion. And I guess I feel like I should clarify, like, my wife is a priest. I am religious. I'm just slightly contemptuous of my Baptist upbringing, but in no way am I anti-religion or anything like that.
Are you concerned that people are going to take it that way?
Probably,
Really?
yeah.
From this show?
Yeah.
No.
I've had one person ask me, it's like, how does being an atheist work with you being married to a priest? And I was like, I'm not an atheist. I'm just not a conservative. So.
Yeah, I know you don't peg me as an atheist or an anti-religion person.
So I've been asked about it, so I thought I would clarify.
Was it the same girl who gave you a death threat?
No.
Okay.
No. It wasn't a girl, just another listener that just sent me a message asking about it.
And since you're going to go ahead and just put it on the record, I will as well. I'm not religious, so I really don't give a shit about what you think about
there you go.
how I feel. I mean, I do you, Tyler. Of course I do.
Yeah. But I guess we should also, because you mentioned it, I just wonder if any other listeners out there have heard about the anal loophole.
The anal lube hole?
The anal loophole to sex before marriage.
Oh, God.
Because I was drilled abstinence only education, and if a girl gets pregnant, your life is over.
Yes.
So it's just like, I'm 30, and then it's still hard to think about it. It's like, I have a child. I'm 30. It will ruin my life. That's what I've been told since I was 5 years old. It's just devastating. You do not do it. But it was a very, very common thing. I've heard about it from everybody growing up. Anal is fine.
Well, right, because it does not produce a baby.
Right. You don't have the kids around here who were very religious and grew up religious, but still wanted to fool around. All had anal sex just because, you're still a virgin if you have anal sex and you're not gonna get pregnant and no one's gonna know. So like there's a slew of kids here having like anal sex and then going to church in the morning and like
I think it's kind of normal.
I tricked the system.
I think it's like normal for kids now.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I was listening to this show where they were talking about their daughters. And like how they were like, how parents are like reading their texts and, all the kids are fucking sexting. I wish I could have been a kid now because it sounds amazing.
I remember in middle school, maybe early high school, two of my friends had fooled around and I had written a note to another friend about like, hey, did so-and-so finger so-and-so? I'd heard this blah, blah, blah. I forgot to give her the note, left it in my pocket. So when I go home, Mom does laundry. She pulls this note out and just reads about me talking about like, hey, did these two friends finger each other? Oh, she breaks down into tears and just
You got a good out, though.
Melts down. I was like, it wasn't me. It wasn't about me.
Well, I was going to say she was pinning a crime on that person. He fingered Jessica.
I'm sorry. I should have said Patsy, Mom. I should have said Patsy.
I didn't mean to offend your sensibilities.
The middle school is just rife with crime. And just...
It's rife with crime and antiquated phrases. It's like a film noir at school, Mom.
I don't have any achievements because this game had them.
This game had them.
I didn't think it had great achievements, but it had them.
Yeah.
So
I don't have them either. I'm so glad we don't have to come up with achievements for this game. Some people call this, Tyler.
Do you want
to... What? You stroking your face.
Yeah.
You okay?
This is one part of my face. No, I'm not itchy. Not anymore. People complain about being itchy, but when they first grow in a beard.
Yeah, it's the part of your face that Meg really likes.
Yep. I could just take off everything else and just be a walking beard and she'd be fine.
If you were to give this game a beard, Tyler, what kind of beard would you give it?
I would give it Moses's beard, but it's like matted with dried blood from where he killed that Egyptian slaver.
All right.
So Moses's bloody murder beard.
A bloody murder beard.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
And he cried about it afterwards.
He was upset.
Yeah.
He was very sorry.
If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, I've got an idea where this may go.
Because I asked you about it earlier.
What kind of glasses would you give it?
I would give this the pair of glasses worn by Kevin in Sin City, who is Elijah Wood's character, who is very innocent looking, but, eats fingers and murders people.
Generally creepy.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Some people call this.
Yeah, let's get to it. Do it to it.
First call.
Leave a message. Leave a message. Leave a message. I'm leaving a message. In my car. And that's a drunk phone call.
I don't know.
What? Did someone actually pocket dial the TADPOG line?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I feel like we have to play it.
Okay. Somebody was drunk.
We do ask for drunk phone calls, and we got one.
Yeah.
So we should have known better.
Yep. So thanks, person.
It sounded like a female in the first part, and then so I'm not sure. Do we have female listeners? Maybe we should try to sound more attractive.
All right, Dave.
So more drunk calls, please.
Yeah. Let's
Because-
move on to who called us now.
And it also kind of makes me sad that the only way that our female listeners can call us is when they're drunk.
Yeah, because I think the only female listeners who have called are people who have been on the show or we are married to.
And there's also correspondent Laura.
Oh, okay.
She hasn't been on the show
That's
yet.
True.
But
So we have one female caller.
all right, next call.
Hey guys, it's Impresario Tony. I was curious if you guys have a favorite character from video games or comic books that you kind of hold above all others as your favorite. If any video game comes out with this character in it, you're going to be sure to play it, or if there's a comic book character who maybe has not yet been translated into a video game that you would really love to see. I look forward to hearing you guys comment, and keep up the good work.
Thank you for calling, Impresario Tony.
That's a good question.
It's an excellent question, and one that I have an immediate answer to.
I figured you would.
And my answer is Deadpool, because he is a comic book character that I've loved Deadpool since the early 90s. I shouldn't say I never. I didn't read much X-Force in the early 90s, but that's where he made his first appearance. Well, one of his early appearances. Technically, Tyler, his first appearance was in New Mutants, but he then quickly transitioned as a reoccurring villain.
I was about to call you out on that.
I know. I could see it written all over your face.
Like, Heave doesn't say New Mutants. I am going to throw a fit.
You're going to flip this table and go the fuck home.
Prosecutor you. I like to correct people.
But I still have Deadpool comics picked, bagged, boarded, put in a box, and mailed to me. I never read them. I don't.
Just because you love Deadpool.
I never read them. I look at them like every month. I get a box. And I'm like, hey, that looks like it's really good. No, set it down. Hey, this looks really good too. What's going on there? I wonder. Set it down. I don't know. Like, and I can't stop myself from buying them either. Like, it's a sickness.
Like you get in all these new comics. Man, this is good to read. I'm gonna play this game from 1995.
Exactly. Well, hey, if we did a comic podcast, then maybe I'd force myself to read one. But otherwise, I just gotta like, yeah, this is nice. And then I even think I was like, I should cancel this. No, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. So that's my answer.
Yep. My favorite comic book character is Venom.
Yes.
I love Venom. I have all the new Venom comics. Have not read them yet either. So
I have those. Is that the one by Rick Remender? Mm-hmm. Those are excellent because it's Flash as the bully Flash Thompson as Venom.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And as you know, he was a war vet who lost his legs. So it's like this really cool story where it's like you have a man who isn't really a super nice guy to begin with, but you feel bad for him because of all the shit he's been through. And then you introduce this element of the Venom symbiote, and it's just,
yeah,
it's good.
I love Venom. I mean, I guess I love super suits and stuff like that anyway.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I love Venom is, he's sort of in the gray area, anti-hero. I love that. So he's always been my favorite. I remember as a kid, I never got an allowance. I asked for an allowance because I wanted to save up and buy the Venom toy. Mm-hmm. This is before there was like the cartoon that had Venom in it. I just wanted to hear what Venom would sound like, so I wanted to buy the toy.
The toy had like voice modulation or something.
Right.
On it?
It was back at when Legends Comics was still in our mall.
Yes, I remember Legends. Wow.
Yeah, it was like $15, and I would come close, but then I'd want to rent a game or something like that. So I never got to buy it. I got so close because I just wanted to hear what he sounded like. I probably wouldn't have played with it. I just wanted to hear what he sounded like.
Do a search on YouTube, man.
So Venom toy sound effects.
Maybe you could hear them. That's how I found out what Dr. Claw looks like from that Inspector Gadget action figure they released. I actually have a story about Legend Comics. I remember that place because I didn't usually go there. I used to always go to Crash, which was downtown at the time. But I remember going to Legend, and I'll tell you why. Because I was probably a freshman in high school, and I didn't want to be recognized because that's where I went to buy my special copy of Gen 13. My special copy.
Yeah.
This is the one that I would spend some quality time with. I didn't want anyone to recognize me in my regular comic book shop.
I had a thing for Rogue when I was younger. Rogue was my special thought. But I don't feel like Venom's ever been done well in a video game. I can't think of anything.
Not Maximum Carnage?
Maximum Carnage wasn't done well, so. But I'd like to see a game where he's done very, very well. Something more akin to like GTA, to where he has full reign over a city and you can just be as brutal as you want to be.
You know what I think would be great is a game that stars Venom, but you don't play as Venom. It's like an Amnesia style game where you just play a regular guy.
and you're like, running from Venom.
Yeah, you're locked in a hospital with Venom.
That would be I would love to take that a little bit further, to have an insane asylum and you're running from Carnage.
Yeah, that would be
what's
really
his name?
good.
Cassidy.
Yeah. I can't remember his first name, but yeah, Cassidy.
That he's been locked in there and somehow gets out. Butch Cassidy.
You're locked in there with Butch Cassidy. You have to go through the intricate dialogue navigation system where you try to get the Sundance Kid to turn.
It's like, or Cassius Clay is also in there. So you're running from Muhammad Ali in this insane asylum. And he's trying to punch you to death, and he's just talking shit the whole time.
Well, I think when you reach Muhammad Ali in that game, you actually do realize that you are crazy. You are a crazy person. Thanks for calling in, Presario Teddy. I really like that question. We've got another call in from the Google Translate. It looks long and hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Tony again. I just finished listening to your Alien 3 episode, and I wanted to call in with some corrections to some things that you guys said and maybe help you guys out with some of the chemistry that you're talking about. First thing is Tyler mentioned the black guy with the alien coming out of his chest in Total Recall. Actually, Actually, the black guy was the cab driver. His name was Eddie, and he ended up not being friendly to Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. The guy with the alien coming out of his chest, his name was Kuatu, and he was a white guy. Second thing is, I'm glad you guys came up with nitroglycerin finally after much Googling. Nitroglycerin is really unstable when it's pure form. The longer it sits, it'll degrade over time. And the degradation products are actually even more unstable. So they're sensitive to vibration and shock and any kind of movement. So they have to do things to stabilize those, like mix them with certain types of dirt. So that's actually what Alfred Nobel did to make dynamite, was mix nitroglycerin with diatomaceous earth to stabilize it so it's not shock sensitive anymore. So they do similar things with nitroglycerin that's going to be administered medically, is they mix it with things that make it not. It's not shock sensitive, and actually the concentrations they use for the medical nitroglycerin is pretty low, so it's not even an explosive hazard anymore. And then the third thing I wanted to mention was Dave correctly named tryptophan as being the chemical in turkey that supposedly makes you sleepy, but that's actually an urban legend or a myth, I guess. So there's actually no scientific basis for that. And what I think really is the issue is the more of the common food coma than any type of tryptophan-induced sleepiness. So anyway, guys, keep up the good work, and I'll be listening.
See, I should have known that Tony would call in with the nitroglycerin. Impresario Tony.
Yes.
He friended me on Reddit.
Yes,
I don't
me
have
too.
many friends on Reddit. I checked out his history. He has like crazy karma from our chemistry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I remember when he first friended me, I was like, let's see what Tony's into. Oh God, I can't. I just couldn't understand. And I was like, nope, sorry, not gonna go in that subreddit ever again because it's scary as shit.
for someone who took a week of AP chemistry and then dropped it, nope.
Yeah, I played TI-83 games in chemistry exclusively.
So did I.
And that was actually, do you remember on the previous, it was a long time ago, on a previous episode, I mentioned burying answers to tests within a TI-83 program. Mm-hmm. That's the class I did it for. So that's why I don't know what's going on, Tony. That's why I don't know what nitroglycerin is. I have a question for you, Tyler.
Okay.
I'd heard what Tony had said before about tryptophan. Mm-hmm. Now, what I had always heard is that it's a matter of just the mass amount of calories that you consume that your body just shuts down. Like, can you talk to that at all? Because I know you've got a background in
I want to say
nutrition and food.
that my understanding is sort of a carb overload.
Yeah.
Because then your body will produce, because whenever you take in carbs, your body, of course, carbs break down into sugar and your body produces insulin to deal with the sugar.
Okay.
So I want to say it's more likely that just the massive amount you eat and then your hormone levels raise and your body is, you get sleepy because you're having to digest and deal and your hormone levels are
What does
in different
insulin
places.
do to the body? Like, I know what purpose it serves, but does it have a side effect on the body? Like having that much insulin pumping through your system?
You become immune to your own insulin. That's diabetes.
That's diabetes.
Insulin is also it's a storage hormone. So that is what stores fat.
Okay.
So really, that's why that's why low carb diets are popular now and effective, because you don't
store the fat.
You don't not as much, yeah. But also you can't. Insulin isn't horrible in the fact that it does that, but because you need insulin, say if you're working out and you want to gain muscle, you need insulin. You need to be able. Protein has to get to your muscles, and it's not soluble to go in by itself. So you need insulin and carbs and sugar to help
delivers that?
Get the protein to your muscles.
Okay.
So that's why when I was doing keto,
Yeah.
which I was eating less than 20 grams of carbs per day, and I was working out like crazy, I was losing weight but gaining no muscle mass because
Your carbs were so low.
Yeah, I didn't have the insulin to, promote the proteins to my muscles. So
Well, you and Tony both know a lot more about shit than I do. I can tell you about. I can talk to you about Venom and Deadpool, though.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And that's just as important.
But yeah, clearly. That'll be on my tombstone. Deadpool and Venom, just as important. 1981 to 2015. I'm calling it. I've never seen Total Recall. Confession time. So,
You've just seen the most important scene.
well, I just know that there is a woman in there with 3 boobs. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
That's the most
I never
important
even
scene.
I've never really even seen it. I just know that she exists, and I have heard of this legendary creature named Quado, which is, I guess, the guy bursting from the chest that we're talking about. I guess I should see that movie at some point.
Yeah.
All right, Zach called us.
Yeah.
Saint Zach
All right.
called us. However, don't get too excited because he sent me a text message literally moments ago saying, "Please don't use my calls." So I don't know. He didn't really say anything bad. I don't know. Something's got him spooked. Zach is spooked. So we'll skip Zach's call. Please call us again, Zach. We want to know what's up. Please tell us why you're afraid to talk to us.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Lord Mike of Purdue here with this week's Would You Rather. This week's Would You Rather is going to be somewhat video game related, somewhat random, as I couldn't come up with anything good, so we're just going to wing it. Would you rather be stuck and forced, and I guess this can kind of tie back into the man-pog question that Megan and Nikki were subjected to. Would you rather be forced to play the worst experience in a video game, a la Tiny Toons Train Level, over and over repeatedly for 24 hours straight, or would you rather be stuck, let's be stuck inside a car wash with a car wash running for 24 hours straight? It's a lot of wasted water. It's a lot of wasted quarters. Yeah. So let's go with that. Stuck to forced to play the worst level of a video game over and over in a 24-hour period repeatedly, or stuck inside a car. I guess I should specify that. Inside a car wash for 24 hours. I'm going to go car wash just because then I could go to sleep in theory. If I'm playing a game, I can't really stop 24 hours straight. And if it's that frustrating of a level, I'm going to get mad and break something at some point. The car wash would be awkward, but at least at some point it would be over. And like I said, I could probably sleep for most of it. So that's what I got. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Keep up the good work. Talk to you later.
Thanks for calling, Lord Mike. As always, I have an immediate answer, and that's car wash, because that essentially equals a 24-hour session where I can just masturbate.
It's fair. See, I would have went car wash, but I shit a lot. So if I'm trapped in a car, I guess I have to shit in the back seat.
Yeah, just shit in the car. I mean, at any given time, I've got a random bag or box in my car.
See, if I'm paying for the car wash, if it's my money that's been take to run the car wash for 24 hours, he said it's a waste of quarters, so I assume that you're having to pay for it.
Well, if I'm paying for it, I can do whatever I want. And that means that I can have like a party in the car if I wanted to. Like I could load the car up with people and we can just go and hang out in there for 24 hours. It's like the cone of silence. It's like no one knows what's going on outside of the car.
This sounds like an edition of TADPOG Prom where we have the constantly people can get inside a car and they can ride into the car wash and that's where they can have sex, or we'll have like the confession cam in there, like every reality TV show where they talk to the camera about how horrible things are.
Anything goes. And that's how we pay for TADPOG Prom, is from the quarters.
Okay. All right, now I'm behind it. So now we both say car wash.
Definitely car wash. When I was a kid, man, I remember I used to love going to the car wash because I would pretend that we were being eaten by a giant monster, and that all the brushes and shit that are rotating and coming up against the windows, I imagine that was the digestive system breaking us down to feed the giant monster.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But you see, you know that much, you know there's a digestive system and it breaks food down. So there you go.
Good. So I'm ready for our science podcast. We've got one more call.
Yeah.
Hey, TADPOG, this is Paul Korn. I picked up your card at Game Galaxy, and I've been going through backlog. I just recently caught up, so I feel I have the right to call in now. Just say, you guys are doing a great job. I figured that I'd come in and just ask you guys a question. What is the most unfortunate tattoo you have ever seen in person? I've got a story for this one. A friend of my brother's has a lot of tattoos, and I only saw this guy once, but he's got several that indicate that he's a fan of the Insane Clown Posse. Most prominently is on his left forearm. Going down his left forearm is just the word Juggalo tattooed onto his arm. But that's not where it ends, because instead of the O, he has the Batman symbol. And when I saw this guy and I saw that tattoo, I must have stared at it for probably what felt like, 6 days. Like it was just transfixing. And I just wonder if you guys might have any stories like that. So, love the show, and I'll call in another time. All right, see you guys later.
That is an epically awful tattoo.
Take a picture of that and put it on Reddit. Put it on our cringe pics and get some karma.
I am literally cringing right now. Like, I don't know if I could make my shoulders any narrower than they are right now. I actually feel kind of queasy. Just because I have that negative of a response to just Juggalo culture.
You love ICP.
God, I'm going to go ahead and be judgy. Nope. Those poor guys, they just took that joke band so seriously.
Serious business, Dave.
I also, man, that's a weird feeling to have someone tell you that they listened to like 55 hours at least of you talking.
Yeah. That's pretty good. It's pretty impressive. Especially on like a big chunk. That's impressive.
I know. I kind of feel like we should come up with a title for Paul Korn here.
Okay, you're right.
Someone who does a whole bunch of shit in a short amount of time that I'm going to assume is not enjoyable. Not an enjoyable experience. Gladiator is what comes to mind.
Gladiator?
But I mean, he's
he
really
tackled all of it.
Yeah.
I think for him to sit down and listen to all of it, I was thinking scholar.
Or archivist. Or
Archivist,
like
that's nice.
All right. Archivist.
Archivist Paul.
Well, we have multiple listeners who are named Paul. Can we do Archivist Korn?
Yep.
Because I think that actually sounds a lot better.
Yep.
And it also sounds like it might be a brand of canned corn.
There you go. Archivist Korn.
So Micah.
For librarians.
Lord Mike, if you can just go ahead and mock up Archivist Korn, Archivist brand corn, we'd appreciate it.
There you go. So Archivist, there you go.
Thanks for calling. And I love Game Galaxy. I can't wait to go up there again.
I also had a message, our 100th Twitter follower sent us a message asking, like, hey, anything for 100? So gave him a title.
Okay, what's that? What did we give him?
Matthew the Centitarian.
Okay.
So for being the 100th.
All right, fair enough. All right, cool. Love the people on Twitter. We would thank them, but we do that on this. Oh, we do it here.
True.
The longest episode ever.
What is to answer the question, have you seen any horrible tattoos?
Oh God, I completely forgot. Yeah. I forgot we were. I was asking a question. Yes, I have. And it's actually one that's pretty intimate to me. Not because I have it myself, but because a family member had it. Mm-hmm. My uncle had a tattoo of his wife's name on his arm. Mm-hmm. They got divorced because that's what happens when you get a tattoo of your wife's name on your arm. It's just you're tempting fate, essentially. They got divorced, so he went back to the tattoo artist, my uncle, smart guy, and had him write void over it like it was a check.
Oh. And I guess that's one way to handle it.
So I got to see that. I used to ask him to show it to me at Thanksgiving. They're like, can I see your void tattoo? How about you?
Because I haven't seen, most tattoos I've seen in real life have been pretty good. Because I work with a girl who has a lot of very cool Nintendo-related tattoos. And her fiance is working on a large NES sleeve that he has mostly done. That's very, very cool.
Clearly they listen.
They've listened sometimes. So it's
sometimes not good enough.
We're gonna hook them. We'll hook them eventually. But my cousin has a tattoo across his whole stomach of a black spider web, and his belly button is in the center of it. So I'm just waiting for when he gets older to get fat and that used to turn turn into a net.
He looks like a ham.
Yeah, it just looks like the ham in the netting with.
When he goes out to the beach and gets sunburned, he just looks like a fucking ham. I guess it makes it a fun game when you pick lint out of your belly button. What would the spider catch today? I'm glad your cousin's not fat, Tyler.
No, he's not yet.
I'm assuming it's a he, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. About to say if it was a woman and when
She
getting pregnant.
yeah. The doctor's gonna be like, "What? Caught you a baby."
Layden, it's called my God. It's like a crazy woman who has that, and she calls her vagina like the fly trap, and that's what she's.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Can't do it.
Nope.
We got people to thank.
Yeah, we do.
Who may or may not have spider webs on. If you're a listener, you have a spider web on your belly. We're not talking about you.
Or if we want to send us pictures, go ahead.
Send us pictures of your fly trap.
All right. So for Facebook shares, Troubadour's Megalixer, Baron Paul, Lord Mike, Tori Sturgill, Saint Zach, Marquez Nicole.
Thank you.
Twitter, Correspondent Laura, Impresario Tony, Lord Mike, Marquez Nicole, Archivist Corn, Lord Dennis, and Nathan Garden. For art, we had it sent to us privately because they were afraid to post it. I think it's brilliant, so we're going to go ahead and post it.
Yeah.
I think I want to post it.
Okay.
Or maybe we won't say his name if he's embarrassed, but we got a very cool, very humorous piece of Tropical Capricorn art.
Yes.
Let's see. Kind words, John Turley.
Yes. Thanks, John. I actually have a little side note. He called me and said that he really enjoyed the Man-Pog episode. He did say that his testosterone completely bottomed out in the last 6 minutes of the show where Meg talks about your beard. He said that he had a hard time getting through it because it was just like, he was like, they did such a good job. They weren't like super girly or anything. And then the last 6 minutes of the show happened.
He did such a good job not being girly.
So thanks for the feedback, John. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
5-star reviews, Wayward Cross.
Yes.
Who is also now the winner of the Goosebumps book.
Hell yeah. So send us your address if you would like the Goosebumps book, which I know that you do.
Give us some personal information.
Yes.
And we'll make good use of it.
Give us your address and your credit card number so I can buy Symphony of the Night again. Is that all we got?
I think that's all I've got.
So, okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes or Stitcher, so don't miss the next episode. We'll be talking about IGN's 54th ranked game.
Pretty sure 54.
Bust a Move. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe, give the show a 5-star rating, write a review. We love them. We love them.
You might win a Goosebumps book.
Maybe it's not a bribe. We just send them to people. We just have to find some way sometimes of how we're going to select them. But anybody can do it. Anyone could win.
Might as well be you. Don't worry, guys. We will be back next week. Actually, we'll be back on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
we'll be back in 2 days.
So I'm not too worried about you getting tired of us or anything like that. In the meantime, you can find us on tadpog.com, or why not join us on facebook.com/tadpog. We're also on Twitter. We've got a lot of activity going on currently on Twitter. You can follow us at tadpog_podcast. Our intro song, Tyler, is Moves by Sycamore Drive.
Who has a Facebook page.
He does have a Facebook page. If you like the show, please check out Sycamore Drive on Facebook and like his page, because I love the theme music and I want him to keep making music. And eventually when we do the Captain Ron RPG, I want him to score the entire thing. So we need to gain his favor. That track can be found on the show notes at tadpog.com. Until then, Tropical Capricorn.
Tropical Capricorn.
Because I fucked with him a lot yesterday.
Test him out up proper. Yeah.
This is a big wall of blue. It looks good. Looks good.
I was making the red light flash over here.
Let's see that. I didn't get to see that.
There you go.
Compressor's working. That's good.